Energized show, up the Irish.
Okay, what's going on, guys? And welcome to a brand new episode of Energized in 2023, Ross. Introduce the guests.
Today we have the Gym of the Year 2022 and the Coach of the Year 2022. We have Mr. Chris Fields and Tom King. Lads, how are you doing?
How you doing, guys?
Yeah, all good, man. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Excited to see what 2023 brings. Obviously, you guys had an incredible 2022. We'll start off with yourself, Tom. Tom, how did you feel the gym did this year, and what do you think made the difference this year?
Obviously a fantastic year for us, and building on, the year before was pretty good as well. It's just a squad that's coming together. I think, obviously, it's huge props to Chris. I suppose a big difference is he's obsessed with it. He came back early off a family holiday. Well, he came in the middle of his family holiday, flew back, cornered some lads, flew back to Spain. That's stuff a lot of coaches won't do, But I think a combination of things. I think with the new premises there, we've a big kind of squad of guys, and we have the processes in place, And this is really only the start. It's the Gym of the Year this year. It'll be, it'll build from here. I think every year is going to be an improvement on what we did this year,
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I did want to ask is the mantra "We are different." Tom, where did that come from, and what does that mean to you?
Chris made that up.
All right, Chris.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of sums us up because, like I said, we'll go to a jiu-jitsu competition and watch white belts for 8 or 9 hours. Like Chris will go to, it doesn't matter what level of fight the guys are doing, he'll be there in the corner with them. The guys will be doing pads at all hours, he'll be there for them. So there is a different attitude in the gym. Obviously, we trained, elsewhere, and just, I suppose, the dedication from the team and the coaches. And we were trying to build something different, trying to build it's kind of our ethos was almost like a fight version of a GAA club. Everyone's involved, everyone has their part to play, and it builds from the top down. There's a culture there, so I suppose
that's one thing that I noticed. We were getting a picture to say you were coming on the show, and I literally saw you when the original gym was being built. The 2 years getting your hands dirty, getting stuck in. So you literally are building something amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's incredible what you guys have achieved. Not only over the last year, but since you guys started your own gym. Chris, one thing I want to touch on is what Tom touched on. And when you guys were up for Gym of the Year and you were up for Coach of the Year, and we put the polls out, I'm not gonna lie, the amount of abuse we got off Team KF guys, even when you're winning, the culture there is is something else. They're giving out to us even when you're winning the polls. We're being given out by the Team KF guys. I was like, geez, that's like a cult these lads are after bringing. That's how passionate about that gym people are.
Yeah, I think something that me and Tom put a lot of effort in is that everyone feels part, and it's not. There's no superstars in the gym. There's no kind of say, I don't know, you pick one of the pros that's doing really well at the moment. He's treated the exact same as a white belt training twice a week. You know what I mean? And the other thing that happens, and this was very important, is that the guys train in all the classes. So the pros that you see compete at the highest level, they go and train with the jiu-jitsu guys in jiu-jitsu classes, and they get humbled by guys like that. And they then there's a respect, and there's also a thing that the guy that trains maybe 3 nights a week, but he's a really solid purple belt, he's rolling with guys who are competing in Cage Warriors, and he feels a part of that because he helped the lads get there. He's the guy that they were rolling with. He was the guy pushing them. And something nice I have and we have in the gym, and something that me and Tom have created, is that if say one of the guys is fighting a really high level jiu-jitsu guy, we have black belts in the gym that will take their Friday night with their family, come down and train with that guy, and they'll add in strikes and they'll do things to make his life easier. That doesn't happen elsewhere. It just doesn't. It doesn't happen in other gyms. It's just something that it was something that me and Tom had together. So Tom used to do that for me. You know what I mean? And then we've just brought it into a much bigger sphere now. When I used to have fights coming up, Tom used to come meet me and we'd roll for an hour in the cage. That's what we did for pretty much my whole career. He did the same for Cahill, he did the same for Connie, he did the same for anyone like that wanted the rounds. And then what's happened is now we've been able to pass it on to our students. So it's this really cool atmosphere where everyone feels like they're part of something. And it probably leads to them abusing people every now and again, but it's definitely all in good. It's all in good faith. It's all in good faith.
No, it really is, Baz. It's incredible. Baz is actually always going on about KF. He loves it.
Yeah. Another thing I've noticed as well from Team KF, the whole team, anytime someone has a fight announced, that the whole team then announce the fights on as well. Like the way they all push each other, the way they all make sure that everyone's involved is something that myself and Ross, like promoting Irish MMA, like we see that. And that's probably the thing that Team KF are probably most known for. Anytime there's a fight, amateur or pro, everyone's shouting it out.
Yeah, so something that has happened in the club and is a big thing is that it's like I and Tom, like Tom's the same as me in this, but I want to do it with 50. I don't want to do it with 500. I want 50 guys. I want them to I want to train them from the ground up. I want to build them from absolute zero or a little bit of experience and then make them into guys who are fighting in the UFC. And I don't want 500 guys in my mat. I don't know their name. They're Ronins, they're samurais with no masters. They bounce from gym to gym. That's not what I want to do here. We want to build the guys like a solid kind of I don't want to be Real Madrid. I want to be Ajax. You know what I mean? That's what I want. I want to build the players from nothing, and that leads to the lads having a very close knit group. They're very tight, and not only the MMA guys. If you come down, and you hang out, everyone will sit in the couch and talk together, no matter what training they do. It's just a really cool environment, like Tom said, and he was the first one to kind of bring that about, like a GAA club. Spoken like a true culture there.
No, what's called you know what? When you actually say that, it actually makes sense because it does have that sort of community, local vibe to it. So we can definitely see that come into fruition. I do want to touch on some of the guys within the gym because I know you said there's no superstars in the gym, but there's a lot of guys who are making waves in the gym, and I think we've started to see almost like the first wave of homegrown Team KF talent in the Shelleys, Taka. Obviously, you have James Webb, sort of a team captain like figure, but now you have the next level of amateurs coming in. You have Craig McGrattan, you have Dom Norgus, who I'm really high on. Is this something that you were touching on there with the Ajax, Chris, that you're bringing in wave after wave of talent?
Yeah, so both of us, but that's kind of our approach. Me and Tom are have kind of from the day we set up, we sit down and we talk about how we want this to go, and we want to be. This might sound a little bit weird to some people, but we want to be emotionally attached to the guys. Because here's the thing, I'm not going to fly home from a family holiday if I'm not emotionally attached to the guys. If I don't want them to win as much as they want to win, And it's something we've been part of, and I don't ever want to do to the lads, is that everyone's fight has the same importance. It's because to you it's the most important thing. So to some guy having his AMI debut or a guy that's fighting for Cage Warriors title, they're the same to them. It doesn't make a difference what the show is, how many people are watching. To them, it's the most important thing in the world. And then, are we allowed to use language, or is that?
You can say whatever you want, Chris.
Yeah. No, you fucking can't.
Yeah. If you put them over and you don't bother your bollocks to show up to the show, right? Banged out 2 in a row. But if you do that to them, the guys just won't respond to you the same, or they'll feel like they're not part of something anymore. So that's why I make such an effort, and that's why. If you go to any jiu-jitsu tournament, Tom's standing there from the morning to the night. You know what I mean? If he can be there, he's there. The morning to the night, he's standing there cornering lads all day. Cornering MMA fights hard enough. I've done the jiu-jitsu thing with Tom for years before the MMA team got bigger in the club. That shit's hard, man. It wears on you. You do 80 corners. You know what I mean? You corner 80 people in a day. It's fucking miserable.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Tom, do you want to touch on that? Cornering, because in a jiu-jitsu competition, someone might have 3 or 4 bouts in a day, and then on top of that, at the end, I want to touch on how did it feel to give Chris his black belt as well? That must have been a nice moment for you.
I changed me. I'm going to take it back now.
Yeah, definitely do.
Yeah, no, going back to what you're saying there about the lads, like it's great for us seeing, you know, you've the likes of Craig and Roman and Julian, and like they all came through the teens class. Like they all started when we started on the main street. They came in, they started, you know, as teenagers, 13-year-olds in with the jiu-jitsu teens program. So seeing them come through and then moving on to the, you know, the army team, a lot of those guys will be fighting pro pretty soon. Like that's what we're building. It's an academy, you know, getting guys in at a young age, building them up, you know, and seeing them progress. Like that's where you get the real kick out of it, you know. Yeah, and from a jiu-jitsu point of view, like the way, you know, you have your fight squad or whatever, that's like, I don't know, it's like the tip of the iceberg. You need a huge amount of guys underneath that. You need guys competing in jiu-jitsu and competing in K1 kickboxing, competing in lower level MMA fights, you know, and then the top guys in that filter up. So if you don't have those processes in place, you'll never have, you know, you certainly never be able to build a squad of pros. You might be able to kind of buy them in from elsewhere, but you're not going to build them yourself without that.
Yeah, it is called mixed martial arts for a reason. You do need to sort of have people who are, you need to get people to try the different aspects of the sport separately as well as a collective, I think, on the way up.
I think a big thing as well is that, like, and something that we're lucky to have is like specialists. You know, specialists in the gym. You know, you have a guy that's like we have some very, very high level jiu-jitsu players in the gym. And like we have then guys in MMA that are excellent at jiu-jitsu, but they go roll, they get battered by those guys. You know what I mean? Because a specialist in jiu-jitsu is like light years ahead of a good grappler in MMA. That's the truth of the matter. Like, you know, like Damian Maia is the greatest grappler that ever graced MMA. He's not the greatest grappler that ever lived, though.
Yeah, good luck against Gordon Ryan.
Exactly, and plenty of other people. Like, have you ever seen Row with Marcelo Garcia? You know, and like me and Tom love Damian Maia, so please no one take this as a slating him. He's one of my favorite MMA fighters of all time. But like when you go watch the highest level of the sport, the grappling is light years ahead, right? So what you have then is you have air guys having to push to match those guys in grappling. And then all that does is just drive them on. It's better and better and better. What happens in a lot of places and a lot of teams is the MMA team just train together. That's it. So what you have is a lot of blue belts rolling with each other. How are you going to improve? You know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, what's called the Team KF boys giving away some of the secrets to the other gyms here now.
Yeah. I'm just writing it down now. Hold on.
Tell us this, lads. Either one of you can take this one, but obviously Cage Warriors is massive for you guys. The team's been very successful on Cage Warriors. How big is this Cage Warriors Dublin event going to be for the gym and then for Irish MMA?
You want to take it, Tom?
Yeah, well, it's massive for us. I think we're going to have a fairly big squad at it, and then the big thing for us, I suppose, is that the rest of the gym can get more heavily involved. You know, I'd say there'll be a fairly big block of Team KF supporters there, but that's a huge event for us. We'll be building up to that.
Yeah, it was great to see Leon Hill get signed, Chris, wasn't it? I know he took his pro debut on bleeding 4 hours notice, effectively over a Cage Warriors, and he was unsuccessful, but gave a great count of himself. And then, you know, he had a much better year. In 2022, I don't know what I'd say last year or this year. I don't know what way to reference it now, but the last 12 months he's done really, really well, and it's definitely earned, not given that call up. How excited are you for Leon this year?
Yeah, so Leon, it was on a different podcast. Sorry, lads, am I allowed to say that? Okay, get myself in trouble there. But I stated last year that Leon would be the breakout guy, like of 2022 from the gym, and you know, Tom can attest to this as well. Leon's work ethic and his improvement over the last kind of 2 years has been immense. You know, I'm just very happy to see him kind of get where he belongs. It's where he belongs as a fighter. I think a lot of people are going to be taken aback by how well he does at that level as well. I think I watch him in the gym with the guys who are already there. He's very capable, you know, and I feel like my guys are some of the standout guys there anyway, and he's hanging with all of them. So he just adds to that. I think as well, like you're asking Tom about what it means to the gym. I think for Irish MMA, it's huge to have Cage Warriors back, you know. Obviously there's been a push towards Bellator over the last while, but I think historically, Cage Warriors is the route that people have taken. I think everyone can attest to that. All they want is Irish guys in the UFC competing, and Cage Warriors is obviously the best route there at the minute. So yeah, I just think it opens up loads of doors, and I think it just brings us back to those historical nights, those amazing nights. The Helix. Tom would have been there. Yeah, I don't know whether you guys were there or not, but like that, they're the nights that people still talk about to this day, and I'm hoping we're going to recreate one of them in April.
Yeah, hopefully so, and I hope the Irish MMA crowd gets behind it, and I hope everyone buys tickets to go see it, because we'd love to see a full house will entice them to come back time and time again.
Yeah, Chris, would you be planning, and Tom, would you be planning on basically just stacking the card, the Cage Warriors Dublin card with your fighters, or would you be interested in having them on cards beforehand?
So I'm definitely going to have some lads in March, so a bit disappointing, but it kind of has to happen. Is Omran won't be able to compete in April because of Ramadan, so he can't fight on the Dublin card, so he'll fight in London. Hope I don't get in trouble now for saying that. And then I'd imagine they're going to want James for the March card in London as well. So I'm thinking I'll probably have maybe 4 or 5 guys on the Dublin card.
Yeah, because that middleweight title is now vacant.
Yeah, so I think we'd probably be looking at one more before that for James. That's obviously up to Ian Dean and Graham, but you'll probably be looking at one more before you can push for that. And I'd also like to see him maybe go up and compete at 205 as well. I think that division's a little bit open at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think there's much of a division there, really, if I'm being brutally honest, at 205.
Oh, yeah. So it seems like what they've done is they've tried to recreate a division there. I suppose if you look around Europe at the minute, the likes of the KSWs, and they tend to attract the 205ers. That's mostly what they look for. Cage Warriors would be much more known for their middleweights and down. You never really see too many heavyweight fights on Cage Warriors. You never see too many light heavyweight fights. So I think it's a nice open division for James to make a run at 205 as well. So
yeah, no, definitely. I think he's capable in both divisions as well. To be honest, I think if you look at the middleweight landscape, sort of like Will Curry, Matt Bonner, James, the few sort of knock around. I don't know if Malin is still signed, the former champ, but like there's a few guys there who, if you really looked at them, they all actually have a stake to a claim to a title shot at this stage. Yeah. But it will be interesting to see what way they go. Another person I want to touch on is Ryan Shelley. I feel like he's maybe one win away from a featherweight title shot. I feel like a lot will depend on what they do with Paul Hughes. But where would you manage his career for the next year, Chris?
Yeah. So I think there's I think it has to be a big fight in Dublin. I think there's some names that I'd like. I like the Harilla fight. I really like that fight. There's a few people there that I'd like Ryan against. I'd like the Cherrier fight. I like that fight too. I think Ryan's very capable of beating anyone in the division. I think one of the biggest things, and this is a testament to Tom, is Ryan came to us as a striker. And obviously we concentrate a lot on grappling in the MMA class, and the MMA classes we do. But, you see what Ryan's capable of doing as a grappler is, a testament to what Tom's doing in the background there. It's he's just, he sees that back, it's done. And if you watch my fight, back taking is not my thing.
yeah, Tom, what's called, we'll start calling him Rear Naked Ryan.
Not a bad name for him. Yeah, spectacular. If some of the finishes he got, unbelievable. And against, really high level opponents, you're people going in worried about striking, but you want to be worried about everything with Ryan. And it's the same with you look at the Omran as well, like the jump in his grappling. Leon, his last finish, like positionally, really, really strong, And you're talking about submissions, like jiu-jitsu, big part of it is position. Someone like Leon able to hold him out, you can't shift him, he's going to elbow the mouth off you. That's jiu-jitsu in its purest form. But you're absolutely delighted with the jump in the guys. And
Tom, were you okay with the winking and the tongue out from Leon in full mount? Are you okay with that?
I'd be doing the same myself.
he was living his best life there. I was like, geez,
enjoying hurting another human being. There has to be a little bit of
Tom always comes across as this stoic individual, right? I watched Tom get a mounted triangle on someone once and go like that to me. before he finished them.
Who was it? Was it Nate Diaz versus, was it Joe Lozon? Where he was giving fingers?
Yeah,
in the triangle.
Yeah.
Wasn't that Josh the dentist
Yeah.
triangle them.
Diaz did it as well. Diaz was a triangle, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Josh Neer.
Yeah, that was something else. So let's say Nate Diaz robbed that off Tom King.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then from yourselves, we're gonna ask you both, Chris, and like I don't want to get in trouble with the guys in the gym, but who's a pro who you think is going to be your standout for 2023, and then an amateur?
An amateur. Well, I think I think the amateur ranks are very difficult at the moment because I think there's a bunch of guys there that probably aren't going to see the end of the year as amis. They're going to be transitioning to pro early or mid this year. They're kind of 2 fights off. I've kind of we have kind of an amount of fights that we like the lads to have. I know there's a new idea of having tons and tons and tons of amateur fights. I'm not really on board with that. I think what happens is you start to take damage at the upper echelon of amateur, and the upper echelon of amateur is lower than the lower level of pro. So and you're not getting paid, and it's a very short career, and one injury and it's done. You know what I mean? One bad injury and it's done. So I generally look for the guys to have 6 or 7, but mostly I'm looking for 2 or 3 big performances towards the end. So dominant performances. So if I was to point out, I think Kira McGurk has a huge year this year. I think we see Craig McGrattan go pro, Julian Renew go pro. I think I'll probably let the cat out of the bag here, but Dom Narcus, his next fight will be pro anyway. He's done at amateur for me. There's nothing else to do there.
Jeez, that's incredibly quick for him. That's in fairness, I'm not surprised. Like he was one person who I've never seen take to sport so quick, and he's incredible at it. And all the lads in the gym talk to the Chellies, and they're all like, "Oh, Tom's incredible. He's giving me the hardest rounds in training."
There's no mystery to that though. You could come in at 5 a.m. to turn the alarm off in the gym. Dom would be there hitting a fucking bag. He'd be doing something. Do you know what I mean? He's there every day. Every time I'm there, he's doing something. He's rolling, or he's hitting pads, or he's training in a session. I don't think I have been in the gym all year and he's not there doing something. He's a mat rat, So
I think a big thing as well is it almost looks like Dom just exploded onto the scene here, because this year everything happened within 6-7 months from him. He had a huge year, but it was only from June. But there's been training going on for 2.5 years in the background. You know, that kind of way. I don't let anyone fight till they're 18, so we had to wait till he turned 18 to let him loose. He'd only turned 18 in March.
Well, that's years of training 3 times a day as well. Do you know? So it's not as sudden as it looks. Well,
I've seen texts, certain promoters, I won't say who, have sent me texts on trying to get certain people matched up, and it just becomes impossible on the regional amateur scene to get some people matched then eventually, because coaches don't want to send their guys in against some of these people.
Yeah, and I think again, like Dom's done what me and Tom want. He's a K1 champion. He's 7-1, I think, as an amateur. He competes in jiu-jitsu. He's just he's an all-rounder. He attends. So some of the rules for being on the MMA team, you can't be just going to MMA class. You need to attend jiu-jitsu. You need to improve in all your games. So he like Tom was saying, he's at everything. And the kid has a part-time job, so he manages to kind of juggle everything. So I think it's time for him to move on. It'll be a slow kind of burn at pro. He won't be doing what he did last year. He's having 7 fights in a year, but it'll be maybe 3 or 4 fights this year, and then next year look to really progress them on.
Tom, is there anyone else that Chris hasn't mentioned that people should definitely keep an eye out for in 2023?
I don't necessarily like picking them out. It's like picking your favorite child. I think
they're not listening, so it's grand.
I think Ami wise, I think Kira is going to be the standout amateur, and I think a big part of that is a lot of the lads kind of who were there just before they'll be moving on to pro. But I think Kira has a big year ahead of her, and we're delighted with her progress as well. I think that's going to take.
Has Tom frozen?
Yeah, I think that's.
I thought you did. I was like, is that me?
No, maybe
Well,
maybe he's
well,
thinking.
yeah, he looks like he's deep in thought there.
Yeah.
I'll fill in the space, will I?
Yeah, go
So
on.
I'll go back to pros. I never said the pros. So I think a big one this year. So Taka is due his big year. So yeah, we lost you there, Tom. You look like you're deep in thought for 5 minutes. Yeah. So I think this year for like on the pro scene, I'll let Tom go back, but on the pro scene, I think Taka's due a big year, and I think one that might surprise people. Like everyone can see where Omran's going, everyone can see where Ryan is going. You can see now with Leon as well. But like I think a huge year is going to be had by Adam Shelley. I think he's found the right mixture now. So I think you see him take a huge jump this year. I think Adam's one of those weird guys. He has a job. I think he needed all the things in place. He's a little bit older than some of the boys, and so he needed all the little bits in place before he could really just go right now. I'm ready to go all in, and that's kind of where we're at with him. You know?
Yeah. I was actually speaking to Adam there at the last Cage Warrior show, and he said he was absolutely bollocks for Belfast because he was doing full-time fire brigade training and training.
Yeah.
He was like he had no rest breaks ever. So like he was like his body was
Yeah,
absolutely.
he didn't tell me that either. He told me he was doing it was all classwork. So they were all in classes, and then it was only afterwards. And he still did. It's something I like about my guys. There's never excuses. Same with James. Like when things have gone wrong, I have to hear from other people what was happening in the background. It was Ryan who told me afterwards how much he was doing, and yeah. But anyway, I'll throw back to Tom there. He was speaking, and you kind of cut out just after you started talking about Kira, Tom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that'll be the standout. I think Amy for the year, and then pro wise, I think like you're picking someone out. I suppose from what Chris is saying, someone who's going to have the biggest jump in the year. You know, in terms of coming from a lower base maybe. But I think Leon's going to have a spectacular year. I think Omran, as Chris said, is going to have a great year. Ryan is. I think Adam's going to come into his own. I think the kind of from a pro point of view, it's going to be a very exciting year for us. Again, the end of the year, this time next year, we'll be talking about the best year we've ever had, and I'm convinced that's going to happen.
Can you top 84% win rate?
We're going to have to. That's Chris's target now. He won't be getting his laptop as a Christmas bonus now if he doesn't. Well, now it's 85%.
Yeah, we had one bad night at the very end of the year, and had we not had that, it would have been 88.
He wouldn't speak about 3 days afterwards.
I was in a bad mood after that one. I pulled an Alex Ferguson on the boys. They all got the hairdryer treatment that night.
Yeah, you got a draw.
Yeah, a draw. Like, come on, yeah.
Don't be skewing the stats with a draw, lads.
Yeah, messed it up for us. But I suppose how all in me and Tom are kind of pushes us then with the lads and how much we expect from them. So if you're not showing up, you're not doing the hard work with the lads, you can't be complaining then when the results don't come in. But if you're putting everything in, you can, you're well within your rights to, if you don't feel lads are putting the same amount in or if something, didn't feel right, you can say whatever you like then.
Yeah. I think you have to give that honest assessment, Baz, don't you?
Exactly. But like that's why Team KF are doing what they're doing. That's why they're voted the Energized Shows MMA Gym of the Year in 2022. We cannot wait to see you lads do your thing in 2023, and especially on Cage Warriors Dublin on the 29th of April, Ross.
Yes, we will definitely be there. Can't wait to see it. I'm sure we'll see you guys both before then. Guys, thanks a million for your time. We really appreciate it. Can't wait to see what you guys are going to do in 2023. And as always, stay energized.
Stay energized.
Energized show, up the Irish. Been sussing you guys a couple of times. I've seen a couple of clips. I think you've done some interviews with Dylan Moran and that I saw. So keep going. Keep up the good work, guys.